Loud, raucous parties might spring to mind as triggering a noise complaint, but a flying fox? One Christchurch community is crying foul over a proposal to remove its squeaky piece of play equipment, which has generated complaints from neighbours and defied the council's attempts to tone it down. Our delightful reporter Conan Young went to have a look.
The moving part of the flying fox in Preston's was removed just a few months after it was built last year, following complaints from those living within about 20 metres of it. The council has spent just over a year trialling new mechanisms, but to no avail. The ward councillor, David East, says the community board will vote on Monday on a staff recommendation to rip out the flying fox completely.
Acoustic results seem to be just under or just over allowable levels in daylight hours, but do not in any way meet the nighttime hours.
David East says another issue is the mound the flying fox sits on, which means people can see into nearby homes.
We're talking a very narrow reserve here, and this mound, when you're sitting on top of it, you're actually looking right down into the living and bedroom areas of a couple of adjacent houses.
None of the residents living closest to the playground were home when RNZ came calling today, but Jessie Davison, who lives about 50 metres away and has 2 young children, wants the flying fox to stay.
It is definitely a noisy flying fox. It didn't bother us, but I know there are quieter alternatives out there, so it'd be nice to think we could come to some kind of compromise with a quieter flying fox.
She doesn't think the mound is an intrusion of privacy.
Absolutely not. I'm really surprised. I guess it's a new subdivision, so with a bit of planting and some time, I'm sure that wouldn't be too much of an issue.
Another resident who asked not to be named says most locals want the flying fox to remain.
We're all disappointed to see it going. We can empathise with the people who are really close to it, and that's unfortunate, but I suppose when you buy near a park, you're near a park.
He says it's important for residents of a new subdivision to have a common recreational place.
While we don't use it a lot, our grandkids do when they come, we get a huge amount of pleasure watching people coming and going. Little groups of kids, parents and kids, all of those, scooting, skateboarding, riding bikes up and down to there. It is a place where they go.
This resident, who also asked not to be named, said without the flying fox, the playground wouldn't have much to entertain older children, and noted the next closest playground was a long way away.
I hope that, it gets resolved in favour of keeping it, of course, and maybe locked up at night. And I know the neighbours next door, they've got 2 littlies, and they're very stressed about it.
Monday's community board vote will be on whether to permanently remove the flying fox, with an option of directing staff to investigate finding a new home at another park. In Otuatahi for Checkpoint, ko Conan Young tēnei.